Welcome, everybody. It's a massive game. It is Manchester City taking on Newcastle, fifth versus sixth. And after Chelsea got roundly beaten against Brighton, both these teams have an opportunity to enter the top four here. Big game. This Newcastle travel well to games like this. Manchester City looking to steady their ship after some heavy defeats. This has all the ingredients of a firecracker as kickoff sees Manchester City kicking off from left to right. Manchester City with a very fluid front three, and it's the Nico Gonzalez, number 14, the 60 million euro acquisition in January as that Rodri replacement, as a temporary placeholder for Rodri, that is. Here's Foden immediately in the number 10 position, finds Savinho on the right-hand side. Here's Foden. Foden decides to chop, well blocked. Here's Rico Lewis, and you can see Manchester City already putting the entire press. Here's Nico Gonzalez for the first time. Heard a lot about him, played in Valencia, then Porto, and then Manchester City putting real outlay on him. Also see Abdulkadir Kusanov, the centre half, also another winter acquisition. Manchester City really did not waste time showing their ambition, making some big signings when Chelsea, Manchester United, Arsenal, Spurs, even Liverpool pumped the brakes on the terms of spending. Manchester City saw the opportunity and they've gone big. See Kusanov, see Victor Rice, and then see Marmoush. So plenty of firepower and reinforcement for Manchester City, as fourth position is very much on here. Oh, such a risky pass there by Edison. Gundogan does so well. Well, Edison has had more than a few nervy moments, hasn't he? Always seems to be caught out, especially in those big Champions League games. Real Madrid again, where he was chipped over by Vinicius. It's that lapse of concentration that Edison has. He's got great attributes. I mean, his passing is one of the best. Here's Gonzalez. You can see him being pressed up the pitch here. Marmoush and Foden both occupying central positions. That's a good challenge there. Kieran Trippier gets the ball, and I should just get that out of the way as we see the two marksmen for Manchester City and Newcastle. Erling Haaland with 19 goals in the league and Alexander Isak with 17. They've been on fire every time. Alexander Isak is really impressed, and his stocks keep on rising. I mean, there's talks about Arsenal trying to pry him away, but it's going to take something astronomical to pry him away from Newcastle. They're really building a strong team there. They've got the foundations, likes of Guimaraes and Tonali in midfield. Anthony Gordon, of course, on the left, and Isak now as a centre forward. It's been a patient start from both teams so far. Man City have looked to play long on quite a few occasions. It worked really well against Chelsea a few weeks back in the second half, where Manchester City is completely abandoned playing the short passes. Oh, looks like Aston Villa have already scored here against Ipswich. Where's the keeper going? Oh my goodness, it's suicidal. He might pick up a red card here. The foul on Morgan Rogers. Oh, it's a clear foul. I don't know what happened there. It might be a red card, but play continues here. Newcastle applying the full press. Here's Lewis Hall. Gordon. Might be a foul there by John Stones. It is. Trying to be as touch-tight as possible with Anthony Gordon, and rightfully so. Yeah, Kusanov on that occasion. His debut was a nightmare, wasn't it, against Chelsea? He conceded that mistake in the, second minute where Madueke scored, and from there, he had a couple of rash moments, a yellow card. He stabilized later on, Pep trusting him in this big game. But with Manuel Akanji now injured, Manchester City need their big winter acquisition to come up trumps here. Lewis Hall has got good delivery on his left. He thought about playing it short. He gives it to Tonali instead. Here's Sandro Tonali to Trippier. He'll do very well to keep the ball in play. He won't, and it's out for a goal kick. But Manchester City, just when they started to pick up form, those heavy defeats, especially against Arsenal at the Emirates Stadium, well, that was a result that no one saw coming. 5-1 to them, and Arsenal completely deserved that one. That scoreline did not flatter them one bit. Again, it's a long ball, finds Haaland, the skipper for today. It's Haaland. It's a good sliding challenge there by Dan Burn. Erling Haaland has got the freedom there. He's completely onside. He's in his own half. Then he's got the freedom to run here. You can see Marmoush was busting a gut to get into the box there. It's a heavy touch. You can see Foden and Marmoush both playing as close quarters 10s, trying to give support to the skipper for the day, Erling Haaland. Good moment for Haaland at such a young age. Well, he scored back full of goals, now trusted with the captain's armband. Marmoush with the ball is disappointing. Guardiola trying to flick that. Nice touch there by Rico Lewis. His mistake was punished midweek against Real Madrid. You can't make mistakes like that against Real Madrid, can you? They will punish you. And in the 92nd minute, and after they were 2-1 up at home, Manchester City will have a huge, and that will play in the minds as well for the players now, knowing that they have the game at Santiago Bernabeu where they have to go there. Okay, away goals don't count, but they have to win by 2 goals against Real Madrid. It's going to take something very special for them to get into the round of 16. That's the thing with City. They had really control of the group, and then they started just losing their way completely, losing to Juventus, Feyenoord, dropping unnecessary points, which found them in the playoffs there. City are moving the ball nicely here, though. Just a bit of composure, just moving the ball calmly. Here's Gundogan. Hasn't seen too much game time with Kovacic back now. Here's Marmoush. Savinho. Well marshaled there by Joe Willocker. Surprise inclusion, but with Joe Linton not fit, you can see why he went for that midfield option of Joe Willock. Jacob Murphy, of course, playing on the right-hand side. Gonzalez plays it to Rico Lewis, who's very much inverting from right back. No surprises there. Gonzalez under a bit of pressure. His task is not going to be easy for Nico Gonzalez. It's up against Tonali, Guimaraes, and here's Tonali who wins the ball. Brilliant. Right on cue. What a signing he's been. I mean, yes, he had that 8-month period where he couldn't play, but it's well worth it for a man of his qualities in his prime. Serie A winner, Italy international. Brilliant. Really good foresight there by Newcastle to bolster their midfield. And of course, with Joe Linton, he adds that extra dimension and goal-scoring prowess as well from midfield. He's missing till March. Here's Guardiola, who's been one of City's standout players this season. When they have struggled, that man has come up trumps in massive moments, not just defensively, but even with his goal-scoring touch. He's got the touch of a centre-forward, man. That's why I think Guardiola doesn't want to play him as a regulation centre-half, knowing that he's got so many of those abilities to push forward, especially on that left-hand side where he takes it on his chest. He's a real physical presence. His touch is good, and he's got an eye for goal. I think if you see Josko Guardiola's goal catalogue, it's just going to be excellent goals. For Newcastle so far, good for them in terms of limiting the shots at Dubravka. Manchester City have options on the bench in terms of midfielders. They've got Bernardo Silva, Kovacic, and Kevin De Bruyne. But in terms of forward players, they've got maybe Doku that they can bring on in the second half. Here's Isak having to do this all by himself, but Gonz them on the left-hand side, waiting for support. Isak doing nicely there. Guimaraes might be offside, and he is. Good run there by the skipper, who just makes that late run, and he's a constant outlet, isn't he, Bruno Guimaraes? One of the signings in the Premier League, I would say, in the last 3 or 4 years. Pound for pound, value for money, he ticks so many of those boxes. Excellent scouting by Newcastle. Well, Pep has had his toughest season since being Manchester City boss. Seems that he has come out of it. Still a long way to go, though. Newcastle have worked this ball very nicely here on the left-hand side. Now just camp outside the Manchester City box. City are in the shape here nicely. You can see the 4-3-2-1. That's a clever pass there by Gordon to Hall. The two Englishmen combined. Tonali. Again, swift movement of the ball here by Newcastle United. Guimaraes. City look comfortable. Haaland motionless though. Needs to just try and apply a bit of pressure here. And just over 10 minutes on the clock. Newcastle centre halves playing at the halfway line here. Looking comfortable. They know the threat that Newcastle have on the break there. So City will be wary at all times. Transition killers. We'll see a lot. We'll learn a lot about Nico Gonzalez today. How he receives the ball under pressure. How he responds to playing against two top quality centre midfielders in Bruno Guimaraes and Sandro Tonali. And there's Edison. I mean, we've seen Pep Guardiola rotate with Stefan Ortega on a few occasions. He's not quite convinced. He doesn't want to really drop Edison, but he keeps making these clangers, man, that make it so difficult to defend and justify as a manager. Newcastle looking to play out the back here with a lot of aerial threat. Nice combination play, but Gonzalez retrieves, and here's Savinho in a central position, now driving towards the right-hand side. Good work here from Savio. It's brilliant here, and Luis Hall defends. Just gets in front of the Brazilian there, and Savinho with some really good direct play there. John Stones wins the ball and just lays it off to Savinho, and then from there, it's all about the 1v1 abilities. Rides the challenge of Tonali and just tries to burst past Luis Hall, but good work from the English left-back. Speaking of English left-backs, I mean, that left-back spot is very much open for Thomas Tuchel to pick between Lewis Hall and Miles Lewis-Skelly from Arsenal. Seems like as the season has progressed, they have been the two standout English left-backs. Now, we all know that Tuchel likes to play with the back three. Now, if he's using a wing-back, maybe might prefer Lewis Hall there, because as Lewis-Skelly is more of a inverted player for Mikel Arteta's system. Here's John Stones. Waiting for options again. Going long. Newcastle won't mind this one bit here. Marmoush making the run, but City are not looking to pass out the middle here. They're really afraid that Newcastle might just pick it in midfield, and a couple of passes in, they might make their way forward here. But Dubravka, so far, nothing to do. And you look at the game so far, it's good for us because this game remains 0-0 or ends in a draw. Chelsea remain fourth after game week 25, although after that performance against Brighton, less said the better. Still 12 minutes on the clock here. Here's Guardiola's header. Gonzalez loses out to Guimaraes. Again, it's really packed. Foden trying to burst. Here's Haaland. Gives it to Omar Marmoush. Back to Haaland. Good, strong challenge there by Trippier. Just comes across. Newcastle very comfortable. Playing out the back nicely. Now looking to show some pace. Lewis Hall. Started off well. Young English left back. He's up against Savinho. It won't be an easy evening for him. Here's Fabian Schär. Nice switch out there, but looking good. That's very good there by Marmoush. He's working very hard off the ball. He knows that Pep Guardiola has the demands. He has to go out there and work off the ball and give support. We know that Gundogan isn't the most mobile of midfielders this season. So off the ball, they have to make sure that that central area is being covered. And that's why Nico Gonzalez, will see how important that place is. And Murphy trying to play that forward. Kusanov and Isak battling. Fair. Linesman not blown. Here's John Stones. Looking to stride forward. Look at the Newcastle midfield pack, man. It's so good. Forcing City to go along, and that's exactly what they want. They've got Dan Burn and Fabian Schär up against Erling Haaland. Good press applied. That's very well done there by Haaland. That's how you shield the ball and get your team up the pitch, but Marmoush can't keep the ball. Good challenge there by Kieran Trippier, who has displaced Valentino Livramento at right back. Young English right back has been, I would say, temporarily demoted to the bench, but I do like that fullback pairing for Newcastle, both, of course, of Chelsea Academy, Valentino Livramento, the right back, and Lewis Hall, the left. Trippier, of course, very experienced, but now he's given the captain armband duties to Bruno Guimaraes. And Newcastle will feel that they have a really good opportunity of finishing fourth. They finished fourth a couple of seasons back, but they couldn't really capitalize. Too much demands playing Champions League football. Dan Burn does really well to read that. Good first touch there by Guardiola. Now City looking to just camp outside the Newcastle half. Here's Gundogan. Again, no real shots so far, but we know about Alexander Isak and Anthony Gordon, how quickly they counter and so lethal. Arsenal found out the hard way, didn't they, against Newcastle in the Carabao Cup. There's a good touch there by Marmoush, takes it around. Marmoush with the strike. And the first real shot in anger from the Egyptian on his weaker left. Kind of apology from him, but they need more of that. Manchester City, they've been a bit passive. This time, a lot more direct. Good first touch there by Marmoush. Goes on the outside of Fabian Schär on his left foot, looking to pull the trigger. Now 16 minutes on the clock, and Manchester City looking for their recovery. City have a soft underbelly, there's no doubt about it. The way that they've conceded goals, like I said, 5 against Arsenal, 3 against Real Madrid. That is something that Pep Guardiola is not used to seeing. Yes, he plays all that beautiful football, but what they are known for is their defensive solidity, and they have lost a lot of their centre-backs to injury. Ruben Diaz, of course, and Manuel Akanji. It's a good pinch there. Trying to go to Haaland, and Dubravka gets there first. The weight on pass, far too much on it. Good press there by Manchester City. Foden forcing the error. Marmoush wins the ball and then just tries to feed that to Haaland first time. Here's Rico Lewis. Man City stepping up the pace very much. Newcastle happy to just retreat into the mid-block. They pinch the ball here. It's Guimaraes quickly looking to receive it to Isak. Nice first touch. Waits for support. Isak does so well to hold the ball. Rides a few challenges, but Josko Guardiola, look at that for strength and balance from the Croatian. Brilliant. Just muscles Guardiola, and not just that, just shows his footwork after it. Such a Swiss Army knife type of player Josko Guardiola is. Here's Savinho. He's got very deep there, has to be careful. Gonzalez does just enough in terms of keeping the ball. Here's Foden dropping very deep here. His own box, trying to pick the ball up and trying to dictate. Newcastle relentless in the press here. Exactly what they want. Want City to hit the long balls, but City have won the first and second. Here's Savinho, nowhere to go really. He's 3-on-1. Brilliant press here. But Man City need to move the ball a lot more swifter in the midfield areas. Try and move Newcastle around. Of course, the space will be there in the wide areas, but Newcastle so far have had no issues whatsoever. Away from home, knowing that they might have taken a point if you offered it to them before the match, but now that it's 0-0, 18 minutes on the clock, not really threatened Dubravka. They'll fancy themselves here. Oh, that's a nice touch. There's Marmoush. He's through on goal. Omar Marmoush with the chip. It is delicious. How composed is the Egyptian? And he gets his first goal for Manchester City in the league. It's Ederson with the assist. How many times has he got? Is that a 6th assist for Ederson? A long punt forward. Omar Marmoush looks to have beaten the offside trap. Runs in a straight line there, completely unmarked. How about this for a ball? It's brilliant. And then Marmoush, you can see Trippier getting caught there. Keeper, no man's land. And Marmoush with the chip. And Manchester City have the lead. What a ball that is from Ederson. And Marmoush does the rest. That is some way to just get your first goal for Manchester City. And it's the Egyptian Prince. The Newcastle would have felt that they dealt with Manchester City's threat early on, but it's the long ball tactic that Manchester City have resorted to far too often in the few weeks that they have. Once again, they benefit from it, and it's Marmoush who gets it. Look what it means to him. He's pleased. He's worked very hard in this game, and now he's got the reward. Well, all to do here for Newcastle. They'll have to reset. Would have felt that they were comfortable in the opening 20, and now they'll have to come out and play here. See that Newcastle's bench, they don't have too much depth because of those injuries. They do have Callum Wilson, but I don't really see how he displaces Alexander Isak at any stage in this game, really. They do have Harvey Barnes, but again, on that left-hand side, can you take off Anthony Gordon? I'm not really sure. So while they do have options, I don't think they might be right for this game, knowing how difficult it might be. And now that Manchester City have the lead, well, they have started games well. They have taken the lead on many occasions. But if they leave the game open, their soft underbelly has shown in the games here. I think that is Edison's second assist this season. That is more than a lot of forwards and midfielders in the Premier League. So kudos to Edison, man. Really good ball. You see what Trippier was trying to do. He tried to cover the run across by going to Marmoush, but he gets caught under. And once you get caught there, it's such a uncomfortable position, really, because if you don't time that jump and then you're just completely helpless, you're taken out of the game. And Marmoush did really well to chip after that. Well, for Pep Guardiola and Manchester City, as halfway point of the first half, they'll feel that job done, but they'll know that they've been in this situation far too often. It's a good pass again a long ball, and Haaland holds it nicely, but it's almost 4-on-1 with him. He's almost like a battering ram here. City looking to win the second balls off him. It's a good touch there by Willock. He's put under tremendous amount of pressure. Newcastle looking to play out the back. Channel ball. Lovely turn. Oh, Gordon's open here, and he's got Isak for support. Anthony Gordon, very well defended. I think that is Nico Gonzalez. And then Kusanov just clears that away. The two winter acquisitions combined there in a defensive capacity there for Manchester City. Applauded and thumbs up there from Pep Guardiola. They know how difficult it is to defend those transitions against Newcastle United. You see there that Gonzalez and Kusanov are almost playing in a straight line here. A centre half, a centre midfielder. Not much time to build that understanding on the pitch. Again, Edison being used to beat the press with his passing. Done very well to draw the foul there, Rico Lewis. Well, Lewis and Marmoush both feeling the effects of the challenge, but Manchester City, so far so good for them, and as it stands, they'll head into the top 4 positions in 4th. As you see Edison's ball there to Marmoush. No hesitation in his mind, and once he sees the keeper coming, he's pretty much made the mind up for him. So the chip is the only real opportunity. Just nicely dies down on him. The weight, the spin on it, perfect. Edison getting the applause from John Stones and Kusanov, the two centre halves. Here's Gundogan. So a quiet first half so far. Looks to burst into action here. It's Marmoush again. It's 2-0. And Manchester City have hit Newcastle with a double whammy here. Omar Marmoush, soon after scoring his first for Manchester City in the league, has his second. And Newcastle have been caught cold here. At the near post as well. Can Dubravka do better? Probably. But again, Ilkay Gundogan for the first time really in this game here. Dan Burn is playing Marmoush on side here. Good first touch. Might have taken a nick on its way. But that's a goal that Manchester City will feel that they have deserved. Really good work here from Gundogan. Feeds it to Marmoush. Good first touch. Yeah, it might have just taken a slight deflection there of Kieran Trippier. But the goal will be attributed to Omar Marmoush as the shot was on target. An inspired game here from the Egyptian in the first half here. And now that goal will really settle the nerves for City. Well, Newcastle just caught napping on a few occasions here, and they've been hit with a couple of big hits here now. Now it's up to them to respond. City might just get their goal scoring going here in this game. Haven't really put away teams in the league or Champions League, so they do find the third in the first half. Could be a bit of a painful game for Newcastle. Lovely, man. Savinho, beautiful. Look at the balance and the footwork. Here's Rico Lewis now. 25 minutes on the clock there. Lewis has to be careful. Isak on the prowl there, just waiting. And this is where City's leadership will have to come and play here. Likes of Kusanov and Nico Gonzalez will need to shepherd that central area. Here's Gundogan. He's picked his head up, and again, Haaland's made the run. Good work there by Byrne, and has to be careful. Oh, it's a real mess, nearly. Well, City will do this all evening here. Just keep hitting the long ball to Erling Haaland. Really is a handful. Here's Gordon now. Anthony Gordon finds Tonali. Might look to switch it to Trippier. Will look to make amends here. Will feel a bit responsible for both goals. Here's Tonali again. There's a lot of space. City players just backing off. That's a clever pass there. Willock nearly just sneaking in there from midfield. It's a risky tactic there by Lewis Hall to let it bounce on many occasions, but does really well. Keep the ball. You could see City with 4 or 5 players just trying to pinch the ball off him. Here's Dan Burn to Fabian Schär. Swiss centre half finds Trippier. You see Lewis Hall almost playing as that half space player, not really providing the width. He's in midfield, and Newcastle are building in possession with the back three, and now Lewis Hall making the run. That's a lovely ball. Rico Lewis should deal with it, and he does really nicely. Here's Kusanov. Goes back to Ederson. Again, happy to go long, and he does just that with a flat ball to Haaland. What a first touch that is. Nearly breaking to Savinho. You can see the support, the pace that Manchester City have. Marmoush and Savinho covered so much ground so quickly. All they have to do is get the ball up to the big man Haaland. If he gets it to stick, knowing that he's got runners, there's an option here. Here's Isak now, entry into the box. Alexander Isak clips it. Oh, that's a good defensive header there from Rico Lewis. You could see that Lewis Hall was just waiting to latch onto it with that late run into the box. Gundogan does very well to burst away from Tonali, and City have the game stretched here. Here's Savinho running at Lewis Hall. Finds Foden. Brilliant. Savinho, nearly the first time finish is beautiful. What a save that is from Dubravka. It was straight at him, but City is so fluid in the movement here. Brilliant 1-2 here from Savinho and Foden. Savinho just looking to run onto it first time, just open his body up and find the corner. Doesn't get the whip on it. Newcastle get away with that one big time. City have looked a completely different beast here in the 28th minute that's been played here. 2-0 to the good here. As they show Marmoush's second, he was clearly onside as Dan Burns' lengthy limbs was playing him onside. Pep Guardiola with the applause. Here's Haaland. Oh, it's a brilliant interception there. Dan Burn on the slide. Surely that looked like 3-0. Again, Newcastle just caught cold here. Haaland's onside. Flashes it across goal. Foden waits for the tap in. And Dan Burn, critical. Absolutely critical. And inches away from scoring an own goal. Showing his experience there. Haaland is giving all sorts of trouble here to the Newcastle backline. City fans are up for it. They feel that the third goal is very much here for the taking. Corner here will be Marmoush. Already he's got 2 goals. Marmoush with the ball into the box. Dubravka with a safe gather. Should look for a quick release here. He does just that. And here's Tonali now. Guimaraes, I think City have really controlled midfield well. We haven't seen too much of Nico Gonzalez in terms of on the ball. That's a nice pass here, but Ederson always a sweeper keeper. Advanced position from him. And I think he mentioned Newcastle not really using their midfielders. City have just popped it around a lot more sharper, a lot more quicker around them. Newcastle almost getting caught here. Oh, they've taken a big chance there. Isak, massive moment. It's Alexander Isak. Oh, it's wide. What a block that is from John Stones. Well, they played into their own downfall here. No pressure there. What is that ball from Guardiola? Puts his teammate under so much pressure. Isak takes a touch around John Stones. That is a critical interception there from John Stones. Brilliant. It looked like it might have just squirmed into the back of the net, and that might have been the avenue for Newcastle to find their way back into this contest here. 30 minutes on the clock here. Corner for Newcastle. All their own undoing, that one. Josko Guardiola, you can't be passing square there. All into the box here. Edison with the punch. Good first touch here by Gordon. Trippier back to Gordon on his right. Looks to float this towards the far stick. Commanding header there from John Stones there. Brilliant. Here's Murphy with the ball and well closed down. Marmoush is so quick there. He might get there first. Brilliant. Trippier on the slide. Had to make sure he got there first. Look at the acceleration of Omar Marmoush, man. Really is electric. And the fact that Pep plays him in a central area with that ball carrying ability really is a threat. But here's Isak, finds Gordon on the left-hand side. Decent ball in. No one's really made the run. Guardiola doesn't take a chance and just hacks that out of play for a throw-in. Pep Guardiola likes what he sees defensively. He is protected. Well, his team rather has protected Edison. Okay, what Pep has done on that left-hand side is not really have too much width. He's got Guardiola who might just run there, but Foden operates in the half space. So does Gundogan. And Marmoush likes to drift in those pockets as well. So only real width is on that right-hand side where Savinho is there. Look at Manchester City. 4 attempts, 3 on target, none for Newcastle. Exactly according to the game plan here for Pep and City. Here's Willock on the left-hand side up against Kusanov. Decent ball into the box. Good header there by Stones. Oh, might be a foul there by Tonali. Surely it is. It's a hand on the back of Foden. Saw that in the game yesterday against Chelsea versus Brighton where Chelsea were 1-0 down. Malo Gusto puts the ball into the box. It's perfectly whipped in. And Enzo Fernandez heads it in. But he had the slightest of hands on the back. And that's just enough for a player. If he feels that contact, he goes down. The referee is almost obliged to blow the whistle. So you can see that in the same thing there where Tonali, the hand on the back, releases all the pressure here in Manchester City. Brilliant from Savinho. Cuts it across. Surely 3-0. It's Marmoush with the first half hat-trick. Sensational work on the right-hand side from Savinho. He looks such a threat. The cutback is perfect. No one tracks the run of Omar Marmoush. Neither does Tonali, nor does Guimaraes. And Omar Marmoush has a 30-minute hat-trick. Incredible. Foden picks out Savinho, picks his head up and runs at Luis Saul. Absolutely skins him here. Goes on the outside. Cutback is perfect. And Marmoush just runs onto it. And it's a calm side foot finish past Dubravka. And Manchester City 3-0 here. And they're taking Newcastle apart and looking to consolidate the 4th position. What a first half this has been from Omar Marmoush, Pep Guardiola. With a smile from ear to ear, he is pleased. He has seen his team be spot on in this first half. They've given Newcastle absolutely nothing in terms of a chance and been so clinical. And it's Omar Marmoush who scored 3 different types of goal. The first one, of course, a chip from that long ball from Edison. The second one, a quick shift and a finish at the near post. And this one just running on to the cutback from Savinho. A complete performance from Omar Marmoush in the first half. He'll be buzzing. He'll be hungry for goals. Make no mistake about it. City are hungry here. They'll go for goals. They are looking for a statement victory. It has eluded them all season. We just might see Newcastle be on the wrong end of a thumping here. For Eddie Howe and Newcastle, the priority will be to try and pull a goal back before halftime. And City are just keeping the ball, popping it around on the left-hand side. Guardiola. Brilliant work from the Croatian left-back. Here's Marmoush, full of confidence, finds Nico Gonzalez. Must be really enjoying his time out there in midfield. A really tough assignment for the Spanish midfielder. so far acing it with just very simple plays, not done anything extravagant. He's always had a constant scan around his shoulder, moves it one or two touch. It's all about positioning. It's not about that sprinting and P required that a lot of Premier League centre midfielders do have, but that's not the profile that Pep Guardiola likes in his number 6. He likes that metronome. You can see Bruno Guimaraes is almost touch tight with Nico Gonzalez there. That's another long ball, weighted to perfection there to Savinho. Brilliant. Here's Savinho up against Hall. Savinho, oh, it's brilliant. Savinho goes across. Well, I think he was trying to go for the far corner on his right foot. Flashed across. Marmoush is onside. And my goodness me, Lewis Hall is absolutely struggling against Savinho. He's giving him a torrid time here. He doesn't know which side he's going, and Savinho on both occasions has gone on the right-hand side, and he creates so much separation from Hall. And this is something that Newcastle have to address. They need to try and double up against Savinho. The only real source of width causing all sorts of problems is Manchester City get their third corner. Well, Eddie Howe must be feeling helpless here. He knows they might be at the mercy of City here as the corner comes into the box, headed by Guardiola, out for a goal kick. 9 minutes plus stoppage time remaining in this first half. We'll just have a look at the scores of the other games at the same kickoff. I knew this game was going to be big and will have real implications. But well, as things move around here, Bournemouth are leading and they overtake Chelsea with goal difference. They're 2-0 up against Southampton. So Southampton pretty much confirming and almost stamping their relegation. But Ouattara, 14th minute, Christie, 16th minute. I mean, the job that Andoni Iraola is doing at Bournemouth just gives no excuse to any Premier League manager. Simple as that. Pound for pound, he has been the best coach, man. Him and Nuno, to some extent, being third in the league is no joke. They've had considerable investment. Nottingham Forest, shrewd investment, but I think Iraola, man, brilliant. Look at the injury list. He's got 8 players. He's got all his forwards injured, but still managed to score goals. And that's why their goal difference is ahead of Chelsea. So it's brilliant for them. And as it stands, Manchester City in 4th. Chelsea and Bournemouth going to be fighting for that 5th position. But this weekend is pretty much going the worst possible way for Chelsea, losing to Brighton, getting absolutely spanked. It was a masterclass by Fabian Hertzler and the Brighton players. They did the business against Chelsea in the Cup and in the league. Oh, it's a decent ball in. Very well done there by John Stones. The way he reads that in the front post, magnificent work there by John Stones. Again, about John Stones, only about fitness, really. He's such a quality player. Does make a few mistakes playing out the back, but he is that risk-reward player. He plays with so much personality. When he did I think push into the midfield role a couple of seasons back, I thought he was sensational, man, in the treble season, that is, towards the end. Almost like a rebirth of John Stones, but now he's more of a back to a traditional centre-half. Oh, decent ball in there, and Guimaraes' header, if that's on target, would have made things very interesting there. First real chance there for Newcastle, and Edison was caught under the cross here. Into the box, gets nowhere near it, and Guimaraes' header, so well over the crossbar, but first real chance, and Josko Guardiola gets caught under the ball. And this is what Pep will want to make sure that they preserve the clean sheet till halftime, and then they know that the second half is pretty much going to be at their will. They will dictate the game completely, and they pretty much have the game wrapped up well before halftime. Omar Marmoush with the first half hat-trick, with a 32-minute hat-trick. Brilliant from the Egyptian. That is some way, and this is a really good fixture to really make and stamp your authorities. Looks really good. Ken plays the long ball nicely. A constant outlet. Gundogan's free there. Savinho has picked his head up. Look to find him. Here's Gonzalez. Here's Kusanov now. Him and John Stones both playing in Newcastle territory. Alexander Isak really had that one opportunity only. Took a deflection after Josko Guardiola played that very loose ball across. Here's Savio up against Hall once again. How many times have we said that in this first half? Savio's won mostly all the duels. Here's Rico Lewis, and that's good work there from Joe Willock to come across. And corner for Manchester City. Hasn't really gotten into the game as we head towards the final 5 minutes of the first half plus stoppage time. Manchester City in dreamland here. 3-0 to the good. Omar Marmoush with all 3 goals. And City with the 4th corner here, and they have looked slightly threatening with the corners. Foden's got to get this delivery right. Sammy does get that nicely, and Haaland's header never really going to threaten the goalkeeper, then out for a goal kick. Well, for Eddie Howe, what's he going to do here in the second half? Substitutions? Maybe. He really doesn't have much to lose here. So, in terms of bringing on maybe Harvey Barnes on the right-hand side is an option. 2 up front will not make sense, so no real sense to bring on Callum Wilson. Livramento might be an option as a right-hand side fullback because we haven't seen Kieran Trippier venture forward once in the first half. Tino Livramento with a lot more of an engine and direct burst is an opportunity and is a really good solution for Newcastle in the second half. He gives something for Manchester City to really focus defensively, because first half, I'd say they've been very, very comfortable. Well, after Arsenal win that 2-goal win against Leicester City at the King Power Stadium, it's not as straightforward as the scoreline suggested, but Mikel Arteta getting 3 massive points to cut the lead down to just 4 points to Liverpool. They play Wolves tomorrow, and the solution of bringing on Mikel Merino as a second half striker paying dividends. Spanish midfielder getting a brace. First goal, the header. I think I missed the second goal. I don't remember how that went in, but 2-0 for them. And as Nottingham Forest are drawing, Arsenal will have that bit of breathing room in second and are pretty much the only team that are capable of catching Liverpool at the top here. Might be a foul there by Trippier. You can see that Marmoush just shows him enough off the ball, goes snapping into the challenge. Yep, Trippier is very much late on that occasion, right in front of the referee. It's a bit fortunate to avoid the booking. Fulham 1, Forest 1. You can see Smith Rowe scoring in the 15th minute. Chris Wood in the 37th. Chris Wood, what a season he's had. West Ham losing 2-0 to Brentford. Kevin Schade and Johan Wissa, the 2 goals, as Graham Potter continues to struggle at West Ham. It's been topsy-turvy for him. Only real victory for him has been against Fulham. Since then, it's been a lot of losses, and they keep plummeting down the league here. As it stands, West Ham in 16th, and Lewis Hall now trying to stride with the ball here. It's a decent bit of play. Guimaraes feeds it forward on the left-hand side. Willock looking for options up against Rico Lewis. It's Joe Willock, well defended. John Stones, what a first half he's had. Rolling back the years, Johnny Stones. Comes across, no panic whatsoever defensively. Good work there by Rico Lewis, getting in position. But John Stones just comes across, wins the ball cleanly as just under 90 seconds per stoppage time remain in the first half. Manchester City 3-0 to the good here. And as it stands, are in 4th position. And with Nottingham Forest potentially dropping points here, City are just 4 points behind 3rd place Nottingham Forest. So, to put it in perspective, Manchester City were 8th and 9th at some point of the season, but they are known and recognized of putting on a run of games where they can just go win. But it's been a tough bit phase for them. Seem to coming out from it. The winter acquisitions definitely helping them. Just breathes a bit of new life into the team. Keeps the existing ones on the toes. Here's Lewis Hall. Tonali hasn't been at his influential best in this first half. Him and Guimaraes have struggled to really get hold of the ball as we head towards the final 30 seconds plus stoppage time in this first half. Here's Tonali. It's a decent switch out here. Finds Anthony Gordon up against Lewis. Gordon looking to put the ball in. Very well defended by the youngster. And Kusanov comes across and gets the header away. Prevents the corner as well. Well done by the Uzbeki centre half. First ever player from Uzbekistan in the Premier League. Abdulkadir Kusanov really is putting Uzbekistan on the map here. Fair play to him, man, to reach the stage that he did from the country that he's come from, playing not just in the Premier League, but the home of the champions under Pep Guardiola. Brilliant story. As Eddie Howe's got about 40 seconds heading into the halftime team talk. It's a massive one from him because it's not in terms of the result. He'll know that the game is pretty much done and dusted from here, but what Manchester City can do is put some real psychological damage on them. In the second half, they can, bring on the likes of Bernardo Silva and Kevin De Bruyne. Well, De Bruyne should get rest. And more importantly, it just takes the pressure off this game and they can focus on the playoff game against Real Madrid in midweek. That is a massive game. And knowing that what is sandwiched between them, they have really taken care of business here in the Premier League. And the referee blows the halftime whistle, and it's been all Manchester City. And it's that man right there, Omar Marmoush, with the first half hat-trick. A hat-trick in 32 minutes for the Egyptian prince. What a way to get your first Premier League goals. And he's got them in a bunch. He's got them in a trio. And it's halftime here at the Etihad Stadium. It's Manchester City 3, Newcastle 0. Well, a 14-minute hat-trick for Omar Marmoush has given Manchester City the real comfort now. Has an opportunity now, Pep Guardiola, to really rotate and prepare for the next game. Always must have one eye on Real Madrid. Thursday morning, that game is massive. Followed by that, they've got Liverpool, and then Liverpool at home, and then they've got Spurs away. It's going to be real crunch time here for Manchester City. Almost feels season defining. And this big victory here against Newcastle will just give them that belief and just give them that really good front foot start. Knowing that Real Madrid at the Santiago Bernabeu, that is never an easy task, is it? But it is a game that I'm really looking forward to. It is the marquee fixture in the Champions League playoff. And then for Manchester City, they'll have to host league leaders Liverpool. Of course, Arsenal and Arsenal fans will have both eyes peeled on that game, hoping that Manchester City can take points off Liverpool. Look at the table now. Liverpool, 24 games played, 57 points with the plus 35 goal difference, which is outstanding from their perspective. As for Arsenal, having played a game more, 25 games, 53 points for them with a plus 29 goal difference. Well, the defense is what will really help them out in this tricky period for Arsenal, knowing that Havertz, Jesus, Martinelli, and Saka all injured. The likes of Wanyeri, Trossard, Sterling, and now Merino having to shoulder the attacking burden for them. What they have is their defensive solidity, man. They know that they can go into most games and try and keep the clean sheet. Really does help them out in terms of how they can navigate that tricky period. Just wait for Bukayo Saka, but Kai Havertz's season has been ruled out. So maybe Martinelli and Saka might be available for probably the last month of the league. It's going to be very difficult as the games will really pick up for Arsenal. Let's have a look at their fixtures as they look to chase down Liverpool. They've got West Ham at home, then Forest away. That is a difficult game. United away, Chelsea at home, Fulham at home, Everton away, then Brentford at home. My goodness, that is till the 12th of April. It really is crunch time for for Arsenal. They cannot slip up whatsoever, and they're lacking key players up front. So we'll wait and see how Mikel Arteta and Arsenal navigate that period. See, look at the halftime score here. Villa and Ipswich, 0-0 the scoreline. Of course, the red card there for Axel Twanzebe, the centre half, picking up 2 yellow cards. Really unnecessary and unfortunate for Ipswich. They will be rooted in, what is it, 19th? No, 18th? Yeah, as it stands, 18th, level on points with Leicester. And Wolves take on league leaders Liverpool tomorrow. A win for Wolves will be massive, just takes that pressure off, but easier said than done, knowing how awesome Liverpool are. And at home at Anfield, I wouldn't really give Wolves any chance. And then at 10 p.m. India time kickoff, Tottenham Hotspur hosts Manchester United in what is going to be a real comedy game, man. It for both teams, it's what 13th versus 14th. Manchester United rather, not really getting any sort of new managerial bounce against, with Ruben Amorim introduced after the sacking of Erik ten Hag, and Tottenham have been decimated by injuries. They cannot find consistent results. They have been bounced out of all the cups. They're still there in the Europa League. So are Manchester United. Only real hope for silverware for Manchester United, and Spurs, the Europa League for them. That's a game that either team will be looking to win and might just help them push up the table. Either Manchester United or Spurs win, it'll take them above Crystal Palace. Palace on 30 points. They take on Everton later on this evening, and Everton's resurgence under David Moyes has been excellent, hasn't it been? Got that point against Liverpool, a last gasp, absolute brilliant goal from James Tarkowski to give them a point against Liverpool. Liverpool looked like they were taking all 3 points, and that game felt seminal because if Liverpool were to win that game and take all 3 points, it almost felt like the title was going to be wrapped up. But Tarkowski gets the goal, gives Arsenal a bit of hope, and now they're 4 points. And you never know, a few draws from Liverpool might just open up, and they still have to play each other once again. So Arsenal will feel that they're very much in business. Let's see what other football action we've seen. Real Madrid are 1-0 up against Osasuna. Kylian Mbappe with the goal for Real Madrid. Consolidates their top spot in La Liga. That 1-1 draw against Atletico Madrid. It's a game that Real Madrid couldn't afford to really lose. They were taking the point before just to keep Atletico at arm's length. And fair play to Mbappe, man, the way that he struggled early on in the season. Oh, what a goal that was from Emil Smith Rowe. The ball in from Iwobi, was it? Wow, that was brilliant. Look at the equalizer, long punt forward. Chris Wood, one man battering ram. What a brilliant goal, man. He's a superb striker, isn't he, Chris Wood? Does things on his own. Self-sufficient forwards. That's what you want to see. Mbappe's got 16 league goals now, Vinicius with 8. So Kylian Mbappe very much leading his team to a La Liga title here, despite all the struggles. And they are in pole position to knock out Manchester City. And once you knock out Manchester City, just feel that the tournament pretty much might just favor Real Madrid here. What a great goal by Ryan Christie. Everybody seems to be scoring some excellent goals. Wonderful to see. Bournemouth, as it stands, fifth in the Premier League. Andoni Iraola, I tip my hat to you. And Enzo Maresca, I am looking at you, sir. Chelsea find themselves in sixth. That's the position where Chelsea finished last season after being 12th or 13th for most of the league. So the way that we came back in the last 5 games or 6 games was impressive, but it was a terrible season last season. We started well this season, but now can't seem to be buying wins, man. We got 3 wins and 11 for Chelsea. We've been bounced out of all the cups. We're still there in the Conference League, but should be able to win that even with our B team and academy. Well, Aston Villa and Ipswich, that's a big game for Villa because Chelsea play Aston Villa next week at Villa Park. That is a game that I am dreading. I'm absolutely dreading that game because what happened at Stamford Bridge when Chelsea played Villa was I saw Chelsea play one of the most perfect games of football. It was 3-0 that game. I remember the scoreline very clearly. It was such a brilliant game, but I cannot recognize that Chelsea to what Chelsea are right now in this period. I mean, it has been chalk and cheese. If you tell me Chelsea are going to win 3-0 at Villa Park, there's just no way that's going to happen next week. We're struggling to score a goal. Forget the cushion goals. So that game is going to be massive, man, because when we were about second or third position, we looked like, okay, yes, we're not going to win the title and none of that nonsense, but what we'll do is consolidate and just get a bit of distance from the other teams chasing the fourth spot. That defeat against Brighton was, and it's a double defeat as well, man. It's not just the FA Cup one where Brighton thoroughly deserved to beat us, putting on a better performance, and us putting on a worse one. It was terrible. Can't really. That is something that Chelsea have to snap out of. And what better way than going to Villa Park and getting all 3 points? The February sees non-stop action and see the Champions League round of 32 playoffs continue. We'll see even the Europa League going on. And then the big action in the weekend. Of course, Villa and Chelsea, 11 p.m. kickoff on Saturday. Everton taking on Manchester United, Arsenal, West Ham, and of course the marquee fixture, Manchester City versus Liverpool, 23rd of February, 10 p.m. India time. So that is going to be the marquee game, the game that everyone will have the eyes on. Almost feels like if Liverpool were to win that game, take 3 points at the Etihad Stadium, then they can just plan for their open top parade and wrap up the league title, I think. Well, no surprises that Eddie Howe has been proactive for the start of second half, going with a double substitution. Two youngsters coming on, Valentino Livramento and right back. We spoke about that in the first half as an option that he will be needed as that constant outlet on the right hand side, as Kieran Trippier did not make moves forward, going forward really. And the Geordie youngster, Lewis Miley, coming on. Hasn't had too much game time in midfield now that Gimaresh and the likes of Gimaresh Tonali and Jacob Murphy all being involved. And Real Madrid have to be a bit wary here. Straight red card for Jude Bellingham. Oh my goodness. The referee looked angered following repeated protest. Well, Jude Bellingham seems to have picked up a straight red card. And talking about Real Madrid having a smooth run here with opening up a bit of a gap, and they lose their key talisman, Jude Bellingham, out for 3 games, and the result still not wrapped up. 1-0 for Real Madrid as they head into the halftime whistle for them. No changes for Manchester City, no surprises there. Double substitution concluded. Lewis Miley will take the field alongside Valentino Livramento on the right-hand side. See who has Miley has replaced in that substitution. We can just have a look. Yeah, he's replaced Joe Willock. And we're off and running for the start of the second half. What do Newcastle do here? They know that the scoreline could get really ugly in the second half if Manchester City really do decide to go after them. They want to try and chop into the lead, maybe add a goal or two and ask questions, but what they cannot afford in the first 5 or 10 minutes is for Manchester City to score the fourth. You know that Marmoush will have his confidence skyrocketing after that 14-minute first half hat-trick. Scored in the 19th minute, the first one. The hat-trick, 32 minutes on the clock, all wrapped up. Yeah, Kieran Trippier had a very tough first half. And I don't think Manchester City will do anything in terms of changing their style of play in this first, what they did in the first half to the second. Dubravka will look to go long. Didn't really have too many saves to make, and then when Marmoush did come alive, Dubravka really was helpless for all the goals, I feel. Well, if Kusanov and John Stones are able to keep a clean sheet against Isak, Gordon, Gimaresh, etc., I mean, they'll give them a lot of confidence, and it'll give Pep the boost that he needs, because he knows centre halves, he's really struggling. No Ruben Diaz, no Manuel Akanji. Vitor Reis, maybe he's not ready to be the first team player. Some would say even Kusanov isn't, but Pep clearly trusts him a lot more. Spent big bucks on him, 40 million euros for the Uzbeki centre half. And if he and John Stones can keep that clean sheet, it's a massive tick on the box there. 47 minutes on the clock. Newcastle looking for a way back into this contest here. Set pieces is one opportunity, of course. They do have considerable size. Dan Burn, Fabian Schär, Alexander Isak, and even Lewis Miley is a bit of a presence in the box. Lewis wins well. Bit of a head injury there. The referee might stop it, but Newcastle have the ball here. It's up to them. Lewis Miley looks to go on the outside here on his left foot. Decent ball into the box. Stones lets that go. There's Jacob Murphy on the right-hand side. Very well intercepted there by Josko Guardiola. And Pep Guardiola and Manchester City will want to preserve that clean sheet, first order of business. On the right-hand side now. Decent clip into the ball. Here's Miley to help out on an offensive way, almost playing as the second number 10 on the right-hand side, but he doesn't have the pace. It's almost like playing a midfielder as a wide player, but you see him tucked into the right-hand side, and that's why the introduction of Valentino Livramento is such an important one, because he'll be the one providing the width on that right-hand side. A constant outlet. He's got real pace. And the way Livramento has recovered from his ACL injury, unbelievable. Had that couple of seasons back. The way he's just bounced in, shown like flying into challenges, showing real pace when he plays. Fantastic. Oh, that's a foul there. Savinho and Guimaraes there. And Bruno G and Savinho both feeling the effects of the challenge. Savinho in the first half, he was outstanding, wasn't he? Amount of torture he gave Lewis Hall in that first half. And every time he kept going on the outside and creates so much separation from the fullback. He's starting to worry them because you don't want to show Savinho on his favored left foot, but also he's so proficient on his right where he can go for goal and also cut the ball across as Bruno Guimaraes picks up a yellow card here. Yeah, he just rakes on the top of the boot of Savinho. It's a painful one. Five minutes into the second half, Manchester City continuing as they expected here. It's been a breeze for them. Just relaxing, just chilling, keeping the ball around, moving that from side to side. They love to play this game, don't they? Know that you can very much turn it on as quickly as possible. You know that Haaland, with that long ball option, is always a willing outlet. Oh, it's a foul there. Marmoush with the foul there on Lewis Miley. We'll keep an eye on Real Madrid's progress, how they will play the second half. Have a look at Real Madrid's team. Vinicius as a centre forward, Mbappe, Bellingham, Diaz, Modric, Camavinga, Asensio, Chouameni, Valverde, Fran Garcia, and Thibaut Courtois. So no real surprises in their lineup. Midfield going with a bit of young and old in Camavinga and Luka Modric. And they're looking to just keep the ball short on the right-hand side. Good work. Looks to put the ball into the box. Well defended. John Stones again, the front post. He has defended that area with real expertise. Good front burst there from Livramento. That's something that Newcastle did not have in the first half through Kieran Trippier, who was trying to be as diligent as possible defensively. Offensively enough, not providing anything really as the corner comes into the box. Powerful header. Guardiola gets that away from the head of Kusanov, out for another corner. Decent ball into the box. Again, it's a very good header there by Gundogan. Him and Gonzalez have had a quite solid game, haven't they? Haven't really threatened with the headlines, as you say. What they've done is just kept the ball so well. It's just given Manchester City that base to go forward and attack, and defensively looks solid as well. You can see Newcastle cannot stitch passes together. Gordon and Isaac playing like far too isolated. They need to be a lot closer together and try and combine. Manchester City are not allowing Newcastle to breathe whatsoever here. If you look at the first 10 minutes of the second half, Pep Guardiola getting exactly what he needed. Exactly his game plan being put to the test here. He would have liked to get the fourth as quickly as possible, but knowing that there's no real urgency needed for it, so he can almost toy with the Newcastle backline. Here's Gundogan, almost playing an auxiliary centre half here. I'm trying to win the header, but Livramento does well. Here's Lewis Smiley. Oh, it's a decent ball there, but again, John Stones, he's got an arm around Alexander Isak. He's making sure that he's touch tight. Once Isak runs past you, you're in real trouble because of his power, running capabilities, pace, and his touch really is awesome. So, good strategy here by John Stones to almost man mark him. Lovely switch out to Guardiola. Here's Foden, takes the first touch. It's a bit heavy. As we head into 10 minutes into the second half, Manchester City rarely threatened. They look very much on course for all 3 points here to leapfrog Newcastle and Chelsea into fourth spot. And as it stands, they're within touching difference of Nottingham Forest. Forest still 1-1 against Fulham. Chris Wood giving them the equalizer. Oh, there's a bit of a mistake there. Here's Haaland. Lays it back. It's Savinho. It's Savinho with the strike. It's a bit of a deflection and harmlessly into the hands of Dubravka there. But if you look at the 10 minutes into the second half, now it's still very much given in favor of Manchester City. The way that they've kept the ball has been far more impressive. Here's Tonali. Nice clip pass. Trying to get forward. Here's Savinho. 1-on-1 against Luis Hall. Brilliant. Savinho cuts it across. Dan Burn with yet another responsible header. Jacob Murphy looking to clear that anywhere will do. 10 minutes into the second half. It's all Manchester City and they win the first corner in the second half. Look at Guardiola, man, still galloping forward. A constant outlet on the left-hand side. He will make those runs all day, every day. It's a corner for City. And just over 10 minutes into the second half, you feel that if they just had another, this game will just have that testimonial feel to it. Here's Foden with the ball into the box. It's a decent ball. It's Haaland with the header, but straight into the hands of Dubravka. Lovely pick out there by Phil Foden. Haaland gets a nice leap on it, but not really getting the power necessary to beat Dubravka. But Haaland will want to get onto the goal sheet, trying to catch Mo Salah. Salah with 22 goals and double-digit assists as well. What a season Mo Salah has had. Still yet to sign the contract extension. Him, Van Dijk, and Trent. Oh, look at this for a push and run from Savio. It's brilliant, man. Outstanding pace and fair play. Lewis Hall keeps pace with him, goes stride for stride with him, but the Brazilian Savinho is showing really his burners there. Oh, so fast, so direct. The game is 3 minutes away from heading into the final 30. Manchester City have Newcastle well within arm's length here. Newcastle have rarely threatened, rarely laid a glove at Manchester City. 3-0 down here. City still probing to add the fourth. Here's Stones, who looks for a nice reverse aerial ball. Well read out. Here's Gonzalez. What a first debut game he's had. Haven't seen too much of him, but his positioning, his scans, his quick 1-2 touch play has kept things moving nicely. They're just the kind of debut that Pep Guardiola wanted to see from his newest winter acquisition. Here's Foden. Gundogan thought about it. Lays it off. Foden again in the pockets. On the right-hand side. Might look to give it to Savinho. He does just that. And look at the control that Manchester City are exercising here. Looking very solid. Nice one-touch play around the corner. It's Phil Foden. Good block there by Livramento. And Isak can break here. That's a nice pass to Anthony Gordon. And Newcastle can definitely break here on the left-hand side. Kusanov, eyeball to eyeball with Gordon. Well done. Good defensive work to just delay the attack. Here's Gordon now. Again, City doing very well to get men behind the ball and completely slow down Newcastle's counter-attack. Here's Livramento. Murphy. Sandro Tonali thought about it. Here's Livramento. Gives it short, gives it very, very calm. Oh, what a clever pass that is. It's Livramento. He's taking a touch. Gordon finds Lewis Miley on his left foot. Good save, Edison. That is beautiful football there from Newcastle. Bruno Guimaraes just opens it up with that clever pass to the second half substitute Miley, who will feel a bit disappointed that he couldn't find the back of the net there. First time really that Newcastle opened up City. Good defending there. Make sure that Edison, happy to see the ball again. Here's Guimaraes trying to thread it back to Miley. Here's Marmoush, the hat-trick hero, opening up to find Foden. He's got the runners. He's got Haaland, who should make the run. He collides against Dan Burn. Here's Savinho. Haaland back on his feet. Here's the Brazilian. Again, a couple of ricochets. Might go for a corner. It does. Well, soon after Newcastle nearly found a goal, it was really good. One touch, crisp passing, Guimaraes with such a clever back heel. Then Gordon opens up the pass and Lewis Miley on his left foot hits it straight at Edison. Heading into the final 30 minutes of the match here. Newcastle looking for the goal, which might just prove out to be a consolation goal. Manchester City well on top here. And they'll end the weekend in fourth as it stands, as Omar Marmoush soaks in the applause. The hat-trick hero scored the first goal in the 19th minute, and within 13 minutes he had a first half hat-trick. Electric play from the Egyptian international, announcing himself to the Manchester City faithful. With Erling Haaland. He's got a mismatch here with Tonali. Decent ball into the box. Goes all the way to Gundogan. Foden clips it decently, but nice header. Guardiola recovers. He stays on side. Again, looking to clip the ball in. Fabian Schär does just about enough in terms of defending that situation. You have to be careful here. They've dealt with it again with real composure. Been impressed with every one of City's players. They've understood the assignment and delivered. Good work there from Guimaraes. Oh, it's a risky pass. Has to be careful. Dubravka does well to just get there. City are looking to enjoy the final 30 minutes here. Haaland commits the foul. Stops Bruno Guimaraes from carrying the ball any further. Haaland will be desperate to get on the goal scoring charts, wasn't he? To get his 20th of the season. What a goal machine he is, man. Even when he's had, a lackluster period, still finds the back of the net. What more can you ask from your centre forwards? And you can see from Manchester City, 9 attempts, 6 shots on target, 3 goals. Perfect symmetry for Pep Guardiola and Manchester City. Dubravka with the ball in. Decent header. Gets that clear. Rico Lewis will just hammer that and he'll get the foul. Free kick to Manchester City. But Pep Guardiola yet to really shuffle his pack, knowing that the midweek assignment against Real Madrid now holds so much weight. Down 3-2, going to the Santiago Bernabeu. With the Madrid front line firing at all cylinders. Might just see the likes of Kevin De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva, Mateo Kovacic also might get a few minutes. Or whether or not the decision will be to use them 3 completely fresh at the Santiago Bernabeu. Guardiola has got options, but Gonzalez and Gundogan have been very solid. well over an hour into the match, and Newcastle really just had that one opportunity in the second half. From the second half substitute, Lewis Miley, after a good first touch and one touch play outside the City box. But other than that, City have pretty much closed the game here. They'll happily go along every time. Haaland holds the ball very nicely. Good spread by Savinho. Finds Guardiola. Look at the pace shown by the Croat. Just bursting forward. A constant outlet on that left-hand side. Here's Gundogan. Here's Guardiola. And trying to be patient. Here's Gundogan. Gonzalez. Foden. Gonzalez again. Newcastle in their deep block here, trying to defend the situation. Here's Guardiola. Nico Gonzalez surveying options. I just delegate this to Gundogan. Instead, he goes to Guardiola. This is exactly what City should be doing there, keeping the ball and pinning Newcastle just outside their box here. Here's Gundogan again. Guardiola. Gonzalez. Again, perfect, patient. Newcastle are not able to get a touch on the ball here. They're just moving from side to side, trying to force City back, which they do in all fairness. City will happily restart and recycle the ball. Here's Savinho. He's been so impressive. Only source of width on that right-hand side, and he has tormented Lewis Hall. Got so much joy on that side. 25 minutes plus stoppage time remaining. Manchester City are almost playing this game at walking pace here. They can wrap things up and focus on Real Madrid. Let's have a look at Newcastle. This result will be a bit of a dent for them. Oh, Aston Villa are down a goal here. And 10-men Ipswich, courtesy of Liam Delap, have taken the lead. What a huge blow that would be for Aston Villa at home. Ipswich, oh, that would be 3 massive points for Kieran McKenna's men. They'll still keep them in the relegation zone, but they'll be level on points with Wolves. It'll be a huge 3 points for them. If you had offered them a point before the game, they would have taken it. And Fulham have taken the lead against Nottingham Forest. Well. Calvin Bassey, 62nd minute. The Nigerian centre-half scoring. Well, Forest are dropping points. So are Newcastle. This is a perfect weekend for Manchester City, Arsenal and Bournemouth. Yeah, as it stands, Manchester City, 3 points behind third place Nottingham Forest. Incredible. And they have the better goal difference as well. Oh, it's a dangerous ball in. I mean, Pep Guardiola really, if this is his worst season, which for a long period it seemed like it, but if they somehow manage to beat Real Madrid, consolidate on third, stay within touching distance of Arsenal, it's a very good season, man. Even if it might seem as failure for Manchester City, but having won 4 league titles on the bounce, you expected a dip. If the dip is second or third position with a decent run in the Champions League, you take that. And they've went aggressive in the January market, the likes of Marmoush, Vitor Reis, Kusanov, everyone getting time to just bed in, and Manchester City might look like a force. They're getting Gonzalez as well. Rodri will be fit. City will be a completely different proposition, and if they do spend some money in the summer window, they might look to phase out the likes of Bernardo Silva and Kevin De Bruyne. See if they get someone like Florian Wirtz or someone to just revitalize their attack. My goodness. Just give City a completely new dimension after Erling Haaland signed a 9-year extension. City really have splashed the cash, and they feel very confident that they'll beat any sort of court case against the Premier League. 3-0 to the good here, taking care of business. As we look at the table, after match week 25, Chelsea find themselves in 6th, level on points with Bournemouth. Bournemouth with the better goal difference. Chelsea suffering in that department, that 3-0 defeat against Brighton really did set us back, and knowing that Bournemouth winning by 2 goals, that's a 5-goal swing right there. Second half, and Real Madrid still remain 1-0. See that no real change made by Carlo Ancelotti. He's not got too many options on the bench. His back four has been decimated really by injuries. See, no Rudiger, no Alba, no Militao, no Carvajal. Even there, who's that left back who's missing for them? See, it's a completely makeshift back line that they're playing with, and still top of the league, and a real chance to make a Champions League push as well. So Carlo Ancelotti doing very well. No Ferland Mendy, that is first choice left back for Real Madrid. But plenty of options on the bench for Carlo in terms of attacking options. He's got plenty. He's got Arda Güler, Endrick, and Rodrigo. Midfield, he's got Dani Ceballos, who he can use as a option in midfield to take off Luka Modric when tired legs might just come up for the 39-year-old Croatian legend. That's a lovely switch, but the offside flag has been raised. Anthony Gordon is mystified. I can see that as we head towards the final 20 minutes, Manchester City have all 3 points wrapped up with a +3 goal difference. They look to add another, and I'm very, very curious that Pep Guardiola has waited all this while to make a substitution, still hasn't, and Newcastle looking to make their third. Callum Wilson seems to be coming on. I think it'll be a game to pretty much give Alexander Isak the rest of the 20 minutes off and try and bubble wrap him for the next few fixtures. The result is all but settled here. Isak not making a dent on the scoreline. What he can do is give him 20 minutes off, accept the defeat here, keep him fresh for the next game, because Newcastle versus Nottingham Forest next, that is a massive game as well. So real crucial fixtures in terms of huge implications in and around those Champions League spots. To help me up here as Tonali bursts through the challenge on the left-hand side. This time Gordon stays on side. He does well. Anthony Gordon, well, it seemed that he might have broken the offside trap. He hasn't. Again, he looks puzzled. His runs haven't been timed well here, as you might just see Callum Wilson come on here. Ooh, that's a tight call. He's definitely on side. As you can see, John Stones playing him on. Yeah, you can see from Newcastle, heavy defeat here, making a double substitution of Callum Wilson and Sean Longstaff coming on. I think Guimaraes and Alexander Isak might come off. Yep, Guimaraes, the skipper, coming off. Newcastle pretty much throwing in the towel here. 3-0 down, getting their two main players off, looking to rest them as a very busy period for Newcastle coming up here. They've got Nottingham Forest next at home. Then they go to Anfield away. That is going to be such a difficult game. Then they play Brighton at home in the Cup, and then West Ham away, and then the final of the Carabao Cup against Liverpool. So a packed schedule, and no surprise seeing that Eddie Howe has just decided to do a bit of damage limitation here. Manchester City 3-0 to the good here. Omar Marmoush's first half hat-trick keeps Manchester City in good stead here, and great preparation for the playoff game against Real Madrid midweek at the Santiago Bernabeu. Massive game that, and all the attention now will go on that. City taking care of business now, and a huge week coming up for Pep Guardiola and his men, with taking care of business here. Real Madrid next, and then Liverpool at home in the league. A monumental week for Pep Guardiola and Manchester City as they take care of business. Here's Josko Guardiola looking to battle with Tonali. He gets the ball. Well, as we head towards the final phase here, City might look to make a substitution here. Jeremy Doku getting minutes. Might see Omar Marmoush coming off here. He'll be full of confidence. Pep Guardiola will want to just channel that and let him lose again at the Bernabeu. Might see Jeremy Doku replace either one of Foden or Marmoush. That's a nice bit of play. Here's Rico Lewis venturing forward. Foden looks to find Haaland, but decent ball forward. Couldn't find the centre forward. Well, as we head towards the final 15, Newcastle now just looking for damage limitation here. They'll not want to concede any more goals here. The goal difference is plus 10. Conceded 32 goals in the season. That is something that I want to improve here. And well, you just know that when you do play Manchester City, especially at the Etihad Stadium, you can very easily be on the receiving end of one of these results. Played Chelsea. They dispatched Chelsea with so much ease. That was 3-1. Chelsea did not lay a glove on them. The only goal came from that mistake from Abdulkader Kusunov in the 3rd minute, where Jackson capitalized, laid it off to Madueke, and from there on, Chelsea did not lay a glove, and City scored 3. Surely is a foul there. Savinho asked the question. Lewis Hall might just pick up a yellow card here to confirm what a tough afternoon it has been for the England left back. The chip, the second one, expert first touch, beating Dubravka at the front post, and then the third, lashing on after Savinho's brilliant work on the right-hand side. Omar Marmoush gets the standing ovation for the hat-trick, sealing up the points. He also does see that James McAtee coming on as Pep Guardiola finally using his substitutes bench. Phil Foden comes off as the 2 number 10s for Manchester City. Get 15 minutes off, and it's Jeremy Doku and James McAtee who will get 15 minutes plus stoppage time to navigate here. All but wrapped up here for Manchester City. 3-0 to the good. Omar Marmoush can keep his feet up here. What a performance from the Egyptian.